Mr. Warmbier, 22, was brought home to Cincinnati, Ohio in a coma in June of last year, and died soon afterward. A coroner concluded that the cause was what he termed an unknown insult more than a year prior to death. Mr. Warmbier had been imprisoned by the secretive state, which accused him of trying to steal a poster. He had been subsequently sentenced to 15 years hard about. Pyongyang, which denies torturing him, claimed he had fallen into a coma as a result of contracting botulism, but parents Cynthia and Fred do not believe this is what happened. Getty. Cynthia and Fred Warmbier are applauded at the U.S. House of Representatives. North Korea's conduct was willful, outrageous, extreme and dangerous to human life. Otto Warmbier lawsuit against North Korea. Their lawsuit, which was filed yesterday in the U.S. District Court for Washington, D.C., claims North Korea brutally tortured and murdered their son. They further accused the regime of hostage-taking, torture, extrajudicial killing, wrongful death, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and assault and battery. The document states, North Korea's conduct was willful, outrageous, extreme and dangerous to human life, and violates applicable criminal law and all international standards of civilized human conduct and common decency. Mr. and Mrs. Warmbier are seeking punitive damages. Getty. Otto Warmbier died after being returned from North Korea in a coma. The lawsuit comes just weeks before U.S. President Trump is due to meet with Kim Jong-un, and the day before the North Korean leaders' historic summit with South Korean President Moon Jae-in in the demilitarized zone, which serves as a buffer between the two countries, which are still technically at war. And it was filed after it was confirmed that newly confirmed U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo met with Kim earlier this month. Countries are usually immune to lawsuits launched in other nations, although there are exceptions, including countries the U.S. designates as state sponsors of terrorism. This was the basis on which Washington Post reporter Jason Rezaian was able to sue Iran for torture in 2016. Per the front page of the Warmbier lawsuit, North Korea was removed by then-President George W. Bush in 2008, but in November Mr. Trump reversed this decision, making the Warmbier lawsuit possible. It would not be the first time U.S. citizens have sued North Korea. Several won default judgments in the 2000s. With Pyongyang failing to send representatives to defend the case each time. The brother and son of Kim Dong-shik, a U.S. permanent resident who disappeared in China, sued after alleging North Korea was responsible. The U.S. District Court in D.C. ordered North Korea to pay damages of $240 million, $330 million. Meanwhile, crew members of the USS Pueblo and their relatives sued North Korea over the 1968 torture of the crew, receiving a $65 million judgment. However, getting the money to pay for these judgments is problematic. Federal courts do have the right to seize North Korean assets to pay for the judgments, but all such assets are already frozen. The crew members of the Pueblo never got a penny, and in the case of Kim Dong-shik, an attempt to mail a notice of default judgment to North Korea was returned as undeliverable.